Welcome to this week's Keep Texas Red article. The Double Standard of Tolerance in Public Institutions by Joseph Vargas. Across America, liberal school boards and city councils preach and demand open-mindedness, tolerance, and inclusion when dealing with conservatives. However, when dealing with liberal activists, they instantly yield to their demands. The result is a one-way street of tolerance that protects left-wing ideology and marginalizes conservative values. School boards have quietly become one of the left's most effective instruments of cultural and political influence. While parents focus on daily responsibilities, liberals organize, fund candidates, and fill local positions with ideologues who see education as a tool for social transformation. Once elected, these boards deceitfully use words like equity, diversity, and tolerance as moral shields for policies that insert leftist ideology into the classroom, policies that reshape how children think about faith, family, history, and America. But when conservative parents show up at school board meetings to object explicit library books, radical gender instruction, or anti-American curricula, they are told to be tolerant, be respectful of those who think differently, or avoid politicizing education. When they persist, they are labeled as intolerant, bigoted, or even dangerous. When liberals speak, rules change. Contrast this with how the same elected officials respond when liberal activists make demands. If a leftist group demands that a school display a particular flag, or rename a building or school, the same elected officials who scolded conservatives about tolerance suddenly discover urgency, empathy, and moral courage to take action. Overnight, school policies are rewritten to comply. Buildings and schools are renamed. Budgets are approved for new, inclusive projects. Statements to justify these actions are released about standing for the greater good of the community. Liberal demands are treated as moral directives, while conservative concerns are treated as moral insults. Liberal elected officials have mastered the emotional manipulation of language. When conservatives argue for parental rights, liberals claim they are attacking teachers. When conservatives question sexually explicit material in elementary schools, liberals accuse them of book banning. When conservatives defend biological truth, liberals charge them with attacking identities. This rhetorical inversion flips virtue into vice and vice into virtue. It silences dissent by branding disagreement as hate. Meanwhile, the left is allowed to express outrage freely. Students can walk out of class to protest conservative policies. Teachers can wear political slogans in the classroom. The hypocrisy is staggering. This pattern has created a chilling effect across the country. Parents who once believed they had a voice in their children's education now whisper their concerns privately, fearing retaliation or public shaming. Teachers who hold traditional values stay silent, knowing a single complaint could end their career. Conservative students self-censor, realizing that classroom discussions are graded not only on grammar and arithmetic, but on ideological conformity. Liberal elected officials use procedural power to reinforce this culture of fear. At public city council and school board meetings, they intentionally set rigid time limits on parent comments, restrict agenda topics, and hide controversial materials behind bureaucratic language. They meet leftist activists behind closed doors while dismissing conservative attendees as uninformed. All the while, they boast about community engagement and transparency. Conservatives who demand fairness are silenced in the name of inclusion. How do we reclaim balance and accountability? Ousting liberal bullies from power and electing genuine conservatives is absolutely crucial. The solution begins with vigilance. Conservatives must continue attending meetings, running for local offices, and exposing hypocrisy. Conservatives must remind their communities that public education and public service belong to the public, not to partisan activists. Every policy should be tested against a simple standard. Does it serve children's learning and the general public, or someone's ideology? In conclusion, the great irony of our time is that those who lecture most about tolerance practice it least. Liberal elected officials demand conservatives respect all viewpoints, while diminishing the very viewpoints they disagree with. They weaponize compassion to advance conformity and label dissent as hate. It is up to conservatives, parents, teachers, and citizens alike, to stand firm, speak truthfully, elect genuine conservatives to school boards and city councils, and remind institutions that tolerance without fairness is simply tyranny with a smile. For more information, visit keeptexasred.org. And don't forget to sign up for our newsletter.